Hi everyone, this is Norman Kochnick here for Eyes on Cricket. A slightly later start than expected, but we're here. Well, in terms of the time in India, that was just about right on the right time. It's 6 p.m. Indian time. It's it's about 11 hours behind in countries like England, makes it 12:36 p.m. in the afternoon. But it's in fact the day before the Test match to be starting between India and New Zealand, which is a game that's well highly anticipated in Mumbai, of course, with the likes of Virat Kohli returning, and at what expense will he be in the side? Will it be? Well, you wouldn't think it'd be Shreyas Iyer losing his spot. Let's talk about Mayank Agarwal losing his spot. Yeah, so and then Bharat might even be in the side as a batter. It's intriguing to see what happens there. I mean, to me, Rivers Sahi got 60 odd in the previous Test match, but he certainly wasn't at his best, and they probably need to keep Bharat in the lineup. With obviously Rishabh Pant still being rested as they say. And of course, we're not quite on the eve of the Ashes. The Ashes is looming in Australia very large. In fact, it's the 2nd of December now, but it is effectively going to be in only a matter of some 5-6 days until we reach the point where the Ashes will start at the Gabba, which is very hotly followed by an Adelaide Test match on December, I believe the 16th, day-nighter. So it may well suit the Indian time frames better, although it's not specifically for that audience, of course. I'm 14 away from 20,000, which is getting very close as well. So, Uncle Nake, hello, how are you? Baram was here earlier. I'm not sure if he's around now. I'm waiting on a few people to come. We are looking at getting Alan Mullally here today. He's going to join us for the first time in a time that he hasn't done for some time. Let's have a look where he is as well. So, yeah, it's a rather auspicious time of the year. It's December, of course, which in Australia marks the summer season. It was 28 degrees Celsius today. It was sunny. It was virtually hot. It certainly lent itself to a nice start to summer. The last day and a half has been quite nice, although rain is certainly lurking around, and I believe the forecast is not good. They've been able to get a match of cricket on today at Ian Healy Oval. Ian Healy Oval is in fact in an area called Redcliffe in northern Brisbane. Please upload the highlights of today's match between England versus England Lions. Well, I don't know. I haven't actually seen the physical highlights yet. We had quite a few interesting players playing though, and I thought the England side, let's call it the England side, they had an interesting lineup indeed. They had Rory Burns, Hamid opening the batting with David Malan, Joe Root, Ben Stokes, Johnny Bairstow, Butler. This looks like a test lineup to me. Ollie Robinson, the bowling department with Jack Leach, Stuart Broad, so that implies those three will be in the first test. Liam Norwell, I don't know much about Liam Norwell, but he was there. Anderson certainly, and Saqib Mahmood. So fair bit of depth there in that squad. I'd say that that's pretty much the side with Anderson, Broad, Robinson, Leach, and Ben Stokes being the bowling lineup in that side. The England Lions team had Zach Crawley. He got quite a commendable 45 before Stokes got him out. Mahmood bowled Stokes. Alex Lees, who captain that side. Ollie Pope, Dan Lawrence, James Bracey, Tom Abel, Chris Wokes, and Ben Folkes, keeper. So that's interesting. He's not worthy of concluding. And Mark Wood. So you'd think out of that side, Wokes and Wood are in contention. But the batting lineup I think is going to stay as that for England. And Craig Overton said John Best is also there. They've got a bit of depth in the England squad. But you would have to think that that's the England side right there. I don't know how the trailer of 83, your thoughts. The Capital Dev was quite a good trailer, actually. I hope to talk more about a few people I know. Anita Mutko is a friend of mine who's on that. I knew the score, but I want to see the highlights. Well, that's the England batting line at the plate today. Absolutely. Rory Burns, Hamid, Milan, Root, Stokes, Bairstow, Butler. That's your side with Ollie Robinson, Leach, Broad, and probably Anderson making up the 11. So that's 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 there. Anderson makes up the 11. So that's your 11 for the 11 for the team for sure.
Hello.
Alan Mullally, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. You got your camera settled?
Hang on. Just bear with me. Oh, hang on.
I was talking about the England versus England Lions match today. I'm not sure if you saw the scoreboard, Alan, but England Lions team were 4 for 226 after their 80 overs.
Pardon?
And
just bear with me.
Rahul Joshi asked, what are the chances of rain on the first day? I'd say they're pretty sizable. So England Lions today in the tour match, as I said, in an Ian Healy Oval, which is in Redcliffe, which is kind of North Brisbane. Let's call it that.
That's better.
Yeah, so you there? Put that down. I don't know what that is. All right, okay. Alan, please. So the game today, there was a game today between England Lions and England. And the England Lions were, after 78 overs, 4 for 226. And let's have a look at the scoreboard. Yeah, so 4 for 226. Zach Crawley. Alex Lees. Have you heard of Alex Lees? No. Barabarani's telling me, where is Rakim Cornwall's mentally? I'm here. Okay. And Himanshu Chowdhury, you got a thing called Quick Talk with Himanshu Chowdhury. You got a new station with him. That's something new. So we need 14 more people to reach 20,000. That's a pretty significant milestone, I think. Have you got volume there, Al?
Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me?
We heard that Alex Carey has been announced to be a part of the Australian 15-man squad in place of Tim Payne, which basically implies that he's going to be keeping, and he'll be the 461st cap for Australia. Congratulations, Alex Carey. I did think Josh English was in the mix as well, but it looks like Alex Carey is pipped in for the post. Could well be a future captain as well. Are you hearing me, Alan?
Yeah, crystal clear.
I can't hear you now.
You can't hear me? Oh, Lord.
Yeah, Alex Carey, look, he's a solid player.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can, yes.
I'll put the speaker on. Okay, it doesn't work both ways. That's fair enough. Carey determined to keep focus in the biggest game.
Sorry?
Carey is determined to keep focus in the biggest game. The South Australian left-hander has had his test debut locked in for the Gabba.
Correct. So Alex Carey from South Australia has beaten Josh English from Western Australia for the keeping spot.
You're not very loud on that speaker, by the way, Norm.
Am I not very loud on the speaker? Well, I can hear you loud and clear.
You need to turn yours up, I guess.
Hello,
Hello,
Norman.
Naresh.
Hello, Norman.
Hi, Naresh. So, Naresh,
Your
how are you? I
quest
haven't seen
sees
you for a while, Naresh.
similarities as Kerry ascends.
Sorry? Okay. Naresh, where have you been? What have you been up to? You've been hosting your own podcast of late?
Yeah, that's a weekly episode, so that doesn't take much time. But yeah, I've been around here, Norman. Nothing much.
What are you hearing about Virat Kohli and the selection of him in the second test, which starts tomorrow?
Well, I don't know what's going to happen. What we hear is more about Mayank not playing, but we'll have to wait. I don't think there's anything official. But yeah, there is another thing that may happen is hi Behram, is going to be about fitness of Vridhiman Saha. Will that change the equation and get in Bharat, who opens for his local state also? So will that be the change to fit in Virat back at number 4? Rather the same 3, 4, and 5, and Bharat opening instead of Mayank. But we'll have to see. But first is chances of the game starting tomorrow on time is less probability purely because of the rain. I'm in Pune. Here also has been equally heavy rains like Mumbai. Currently no rains, but very overcast, foggy. That may continue throughout the night. Maybe no rains, but drying out the outfield would take time.
Okay, so you're suggesting that because the rain is affecting you over there as well.
Yeah, it's the entire Western India. Maharashtra, Gujarat. Rather today, even central, towards Goa and other places had a lot of rain. So this entire
So
region
this
has.
El Nino is really working overtime. It's not just a matter of Australia at all, by the sound of things.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Alan wants me to send him. I'm trying to send him a messenger of the link. I'm not sure what.
Yeah, I'm not getting much
you hear
volume
me?
on my phone, so I'm going to use on my iPad. If that's okay.
Okay, I'm just getting a hold of your thing there. Internet's been awful here today.
Oh, here,
Okay.
here we go. Okay.
Okay. All right. So
Just
you're
bear
saying
with me.
Bharat will open. Naresh, you'll say Bharat will open.
If Saha is not fit and Bharat comes in, then there is a possibility of Bharat opening and Mayank not playing. But yeah, that's we'll have to see what happens when the captains go in for the toss of what the playing 11 is.
So what that means is Saha is out, Bharat's in, but Bharat will then go to opener. Agarwal's out, and Kohli comes in his place. Correct?
So Kohli is definitely coming in now. The thing is, number 4 belongs to Kohli in this batting order.
Yeah.
And if you keep it as simple, the Rahane batted number 4 in the last test. We will not say Rahane. Rather, Rahane seems to be the only weak link in this batting lineup, whether it was at the tour of England or in the first test. So that should be as simple as that, but it won't be as simple as that. Rahane makes way for Kohli. But we'll have to see how it goes. Bharat opening doesn't look possible, for it would be hard for any new wicketkeeper. Rather, whoever opens now, if Mayank makes way for Virat, someone has to open. So it's going to be tough for whoever comes up to. Even if Pujara opens, he's also under pressure. He's not been scoring much runs as expected.
That's right. It's quite a very sad situation. Well, I don't get. I mean, if Bharat's going to keep in place to Saha, batting down the order, that's where I wouldn't be opening with him. But that tells me if Agarwal's out, then could they put Shreyas Iyer as an opener?
They shouldn't, or it won't happen. I think number 5 looks good for Shreyas Iyer long term, because ultimately that 5 Rahane will have to wicket for Shreyas Iyer whenever he decides to not continue, or whenever the selectors take a hard decision, because I feel it's time one of them should be looked at as to replace either Rahane or Pujara, and I think Rahane should be the first one. All credit to him for his performance, especially against Australia last year. But I think it's time some decisions have to be made for that 3, 4, 5. Those three positions continuing to be weak. So if Virat is at 4 leading the side, and Shreyas Iyer has done well at number 5 to start with in his first test, I think we need to start looking ahead with that.
But it still doesn't answer the question who's going to open, does it? If Bharat's not opening,
it doesn't. It doesn't answer the question. If Saha is not fit and Bharat comes in, that could be an easy decision to make. But you can say it would be a little hard on Mayank Agarwal. But we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean it's very disjointed. I mean, okay, if they have Rahul and Rohit back, then that'll change everything. Then we know who the openers will be.
So originally Rohit was definitely not playing the Test series. He had already opted out, or whatever the balance of workload. But Rahul got injured last moment. So and I think the plan was Mayank and Rahul to open in Test. They are very good as openers for their franchise, for their state. Also, they play together. They've been playing together for long. So they would have opened Rahul and Mayank, and probably Gill would have been number 4. So Shreyas Iyer has got that opportunity because of KL Rahul's injury, and he took it well. So you cannot now not look at Shreyas Iyer at all.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, they could well, Naresh, they could well not include Shreyas Iyer in this test. You know that, don't you? They may opt to leave Agarwal with Gill and bring Kohli back in place of Shreyas Iyer and have Bharat in place of Saha. They could well do that, you know. And even though I don't agree with that in terms of form, in terms of stability of a lineup for getting form, that might be what they might do, you know. They may just bring...
Yeah, and Norman, what's going to be, Mumbai is going to be helpful for the seamers. One, yes, the red soil, the way the current weather is, both the sides would look at how the seam bowling would be used and who are the good batters against that. Both Rahane and Shreyas Iyer have played a lot of cricket in Mumbai. So who would India go with? Should be the one who currently is in form. That should be the logic. But that's what it is. Both are expected to do well in Mumbai, but the current form goes in favor of Shreyas.
Yeah, it's a matter of how stubborn the selectors continue to be about Rahane and Pujara. If they continue to be stubborn about those two, then they're going to put Kohli back in place of Shreyas Iyer. I'm sorry, that may well happen, even though he doesn't deserve to be. To
be honest, this could be the best opportunity to give a break to both Pujara and Rahane and get in Surya Kumar and Virat for this test. It won't happen, but that should be the best way to look at it.
You'd have to think if they do drop, let's just say Rahane, he's not going to go to South Africa. He has to be then let go. They have to make that bold decision.
Yeah, that's the right word, the bold decision. That's probably lacking at this point of time.
And go back to Rishabh Pant for a moment. He was so-called rested for this series.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean he's automatically back in for the South African series?
Yeah. So all the 5 or 6, you say Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul, Virat, Rishabh Pant, and one... Bumrah, Shardul Thakur, all of them will come back for South Africa.
But having said that, even further, what upsets me is this was a test series against the top nation, as in New Zealand. Yet they're resting all these players. They're not taking it, you would argue, seriously. They almost won the match, but they didn't, when they probably should have last game. New Zealand got away with a draw, even though they were well and truly beaten and they were 9 down. It's
11 minutes left. Oh, Lord, bad line.
I look at it
If they're
differently,
bad line, I'm
Norman.
like,
I would say a visiting team, a non-Asian visiting team playing out 91 overs on last day in India. It's an accomplishment as similar to India playing out last day in Sydney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the same achievement. Yeah.
But you know something?
I agree. I mean,
if
I
I
agree.
was playing when I was Indian and I'm in the field and they're 9 down and they're going off a bad light, I go, Mr. Umpire, we're not going anywhere. They were bowling spin. They weren't bowling like Michael Holding 95 mile an hour. They were bowling spin.
But it would have been the case, Alan. It would have been the case if it was happening for the first time. It happened on all the days of the Test match, so they had to keep the consistency.
Bad light and the smog, and I'm with you. It's a shame, I think, because it was brilliant.
Look, India should have won the match. They had enough time to get them out. Period. Didn't they? Simple.
Yeah, and a little bit, I would say, where New Zealand missed out on the trick, and purely because of the influence of how Indian tracks would play. India played their strength with 3 spinners. I think Neil Wagner, the game would have been completely different if Neil Wagner would have played. And he surely will play in the Mumbai Test. He surely will play the next.
Yeah. So why did Wagner not play that Test match?
Sorry, Alan.
In what way with Wagner?
You saw what both Jamieson and Saudi and Jamieson, what they achieved on this track, which probably was surprising, the way they could move the ball and could get the Indian wickets. A third seamer would have definitely benefited, because for them the lead spinner was still Ajaz Patel. Somerville looked more like a part-time spinner, though to be fair to him, he saved them the last day with a good start as a night watchman on day 5. So did Ajaz Patel do well in the end, and so did Rachin Ravindra with the bat, who was a debutant. But I feel Somerville will make way for Neil Wagner in Mumbai Test. And a left-arm seamer. Right. And a left-arm seamer makes the difference. Alan, you would know the best on that.
Well, a little idea.
Yeah.
Please explain to me. The next Test match is where? Mumbai.
Mumbai tomorrow. Yeah.
Mumbai is Bombay.
South. Yeah,
Bombay.
correct.
Yeah. Wankhede Stadium.
Yeah, I'm trying to get used. Chennai is Madras.
Yeah.
I was there in 1989 with Western Australia. Oh my Lord! And that was my second time out of Australia. My first one was to England, and then there. Now that was an experience, and it was brilliant. So explain to me about, you said red soil or red clay.
It's a little different. Yeah, the Mumbai pitches are different compared to the rest of the country. Yeah.
I've never played in Mumbai. Obviously, I've been to Delhi. Me and Norman are going to go there next year, coaching, etc. And obviously, I've been around the world playing cricket, but I've never come across. Explain to me the red soil for those who are also paying attention.
So if you see most of the Indian pitches, you would see a grayish kind of a thing. The gray thing used. This is natural red soil. Ball keeps lower as the match progresses, but initially there is good bounce and a very even bounce coming onto the bat. And Mumbai being very close to the sea, Wankhede Stadium is close to the sea. There is a good amount of breeze, especially in Test matches where the stands, and we are expecting not more than 25% crowd. It's not going to be houseful at all. So there is an element of breeze. There is moisture to start with, and now this rain is going to add up to all that. There was some news about some more grass, but maybe that will get shaved off before the game starts.
Do you want to hear a funny story, Naresh? I find that intriguing because also I grew up here in Perth, where you just put the roller out, give a mow, and the ball. They all think they're quick wickets here in Perth. Not in club cricket, no. But I'm trying to hear a funny story. When I played for Leicester, Norman, you might like this one.
Yeah.
Our strength was myself in the 90s and a guy called David Mills. He actually played for Tasmania. He's now an umpire. He's a right armer. And oh God, it was a flat, slow wicket at Grace Road, right? My home ground, Leicester. So lunchtime, we're going off for lunch. And David Milne goes, Spider, my nickname, come with me. So we're going to go that way to the pavilion, right, for lunch. He goes, come with me. We went that way to the groundsman's hut. He goes, watch this. He said, I've complained. Our strength is our fast bowling. Now, you need wickets 20 to win a game, right? Obviously. He went in there with a big spade full of sand, right? Opened up the old tank of this very expensive lawnmower and put sand in the petrol tank, put it back on, and that was it. I said, what are you doing? He goes, I asked them to leave more grass on the wicket for us because we get more pace. Doesn't seem everywhere, but more pace, more carry. Basically, he broke like a 5,000-pound lawnmower by putting sand in the tank. It worked. They couldn't use the lawnmower. They had to use some other one. So we had loads of grass in the race. That's my point.
Bahram Irani's saying that it's good for growing strawberries, the red soil. But we're not really doing that, Bahram, so I'm not sure what strawberries have got to do with it. I mean, I do like strawberries. But,
oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, here's one for you, Naresh. And Norman might know this. It's called the Red Centre, isn't it, Norman? Here's Rock, Uluru, all that lot. Kalgoorlie.
Yeah.
Naresh, when we emigrated here, just a quick story. I caught the train with Mum and my brother and sister, and my dad drove this big, Valiant, big car, ute, station wagon, Norman, across from Sydney to Perth. And when it got to Perth, it was red, like my top. So it was called the Red Centre. That's why I was quite intrigued when you said the soil was red, because over here it's just red and it's desert.
Okay,
and
so
you won't get any fast pitches on those ones, I'll tell you right now.
So the rest of this red soil is very typical only of Mumbai, is that right?
You know, there's history to it for the amount of cricket that was being played in Mumbai once upon a time. It's not that they don't play a lot of cricket now, but yeah, it's more, you can say, a typical, because the cricket spread from Mumbai around the country. You know, Mumbai was a hub of cricket, and that's how it spread across. You know, there was a time when 7 to 8 Mumbai players were representing India. There was so much of cricket in Mumbai, and there are so many grounds. And you know, you have heard of these maidans which have multiple pitches, multiple games going on at one time. You know, there are about 17 or 18 matches going on in one full stretch of, and there are matches back to back every day. So this helps a lot to keep the pitch little alive, and you know, they just water it, roll it, and start the next game the next day. You know, that's how they do it. So it's worked well for Mumbai.
So quick talk with Himanshu Chaudhary saying England planning to eliminate offside and bowl stump line like India last year will be successful. Well, we're talking about the Australian conditions. That could well be successful. It's more to do with the consistency of that line and length. I mean, England, James Anderson, Stuart Broad know Australia very well, and Anderson's always bowled well there. The fact that the fifth test, Naresh Allen, is going to be moved from Perth to probably Hobart will fall into the hands of England, because that ground will be, Perth would certainly be a ground to favour Australia, but I would say that Hobart will favour England, and I'm predicting that it'll be 2-2 there leading into that fifth test, which could see England win the series. Bold decision, but they're going to probably win Adelaide and probably Sydney, and then Australia will probably win the Gabba in Melbourne or thereabouts. That leaves a 2-2 result with one ground pending, and we were hoping Perth would be in our favour. We're not going there now because of the COVID situation.
But there is one pink ball test in this series.
5.
The fifth game is pink ball test.
No, the second one is in Adelaide.
Adelaide is pink ball. Okay, they're retaining Adelaide for pink ball. Okay.
And they are saying...
Just, Norman, just quickly, I know it's NASA, but Mumbai, There's your red soil.
Yeah.
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 What a
Masters
great
Okay,
and
Alan, we'll take
in Mumbai cricket tour. Yeah.
Yeah. But going back to
magnificent.
the fifth test is earmarked for Perth, but is likely to go to Hobart because of COVID. The Western Australian borders will not be opened up by January, it looks like.
It's become very political here, Naresh. And I think there's going to be a few. I'm not going to get political, Norman.
No, don't
I think there's going to be a few words, because the guy here's gone crazy. That's all I'm going to say. I know politics, Naresh, very, very well. And the guy's gone crazy. Anyway, who cares? It's the Ashes. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you're right though, Naresh. You said that the pink ball day-night test is currently earmarked for the second test, and that was it. But if the fifth test is played on the East Coast, you may, and I say may reservedly, see a day-night fifth test if it moves. Maybe, but we'll wait and see. But the fifth test being either in Sydney, Melbourne, the fifth test being in Sydney, Melbourne, or Hobart will fall in England's hands, which is extremely interesting. Australia would not be happy with that choice. And of course, we've heard all about the Tim Payne saga, the fact that now he's out. Alex Carey's been anointed as the 461st Australian player when he gets selected. That means that Carey's in. I'd say Usman Khawaja's in. It means that we've got two left-handers coming into bat, which is probably a good thing. I think it probably will. I mean, depending on Stuart Broad bowling, but that's Australian batting selections will be. Well, Marcus Harris is also there, opening with Warner. So we'll have Warner, Carey, and Khawaja. And I'm just trying to remember, is Marcus Harris a left-hander? I think he is. I think he's left-hander, isn't he? Pretty sure he's left-hander. I can't believe I forgot. I'm pretty sure he's a left-hander. So if that's the case, we've got a whole host of left-handers in the side.
Yeah.
Hey, Norman, I've got a bit of a mental blank going on here, right?
Yeah, he's a left-hander. Norman.
What's the town in Ayers Rock? What's that called?
Sorry?
Ayers Rock. The town, Ayers Rock.
Uluru.
I reckon they should say, you know what, Mr. McGowan, have a nice life. We're going to play the fifth test in Ayers Rock or in Darwin.
They're not going to do that.
I know they're not, but it'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be good, but it won't happen. It's going to be, I'd say Hobart's the first choice. And if Shane Warne has his way, it'll be Melbourne the second choice.
I tweeted, he goes, we can do it, but they're up in arms here, but this chap here in the rest, we have a premier, and he's a bit nuts. The power's gone to his head, whatever. Enough of that. I was going to say something, I've totally forgotten.
Anyway, the Australian batting line will have Marcus Harris left-hander, Warner left-hander. Then you'll have Labuschagne and Smith right-handers. Then you'll return to Khawaja left-hander. And then obviously, Cameron Green will come in. And then you'll have Alex Carey left-hander following. And then you'll have Lyon, Hazelwood, Stark, and Cummins.
Mitchell Stark left-hander. Mitchell Stark bats left. Yeah.
He does. A lot of talk about him not being selected and Jai Richardson going in his place. That's an interesting discussion. There's a lot of discussion about that. And the England side, of course, who played today in the England versus England Lions team, Hamid and Rory Burns open with, then you had Dawood Malan, who's going to do well in Australia.
He's got the best cover drive.
He has.
Oh,
then you got Joe Root.
He makes Joe Root look like an amateur. It's just pure magic.
Yeah, and I hope he does well. He's a great bloke too. He played for Middlesex when I was there a couple of years ago, and he was just a lovely bloke. Great temperament. So yeah, Root will follow with Ben Stokes, the huge inclusion. Then they'll have Besto and Butler, who are very solid. Then you'll go into Leach probably, or down the order probably, but Leach will be there. Anderson Broad and Ollie Robinson. That's a pretty damn good England side, actually. I'm quite...
okay, ask me a question. Norman. What do you think, Alan?
Sorry?
Ask me the question, what do you think about that side, Alan, given the fact I have two here with the Ashes?
Okay, what do you think of that side? Alan?
I think we don't have the bowlers. Depending on the weather. Now, I know Brisbane is very, very warm and very humid and very taxing. So the first test is Brisbane. Yeah?
Yeah.
Where's the second one?
Adelaide.
Good luck.
Sorry?
Good luck.
It's a day-nighter.
When I played there with Goffey, oh my Lord, we did our warm-up far too early, and it was 40 degrees, and you don't get the Fremantle doctor, no sea breeze, nothing. So when you put your thermometer on the field, it was 64 degrees. Dean Headley, remember him?
Yeah.
He would have an ice bath after 8 overs full of cramp. My point being is, Brisbane, Adelaide, they're fine bowlers, but the weather is going to get them.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be as hot as you think. It's not going to be as hot as you think.
I think they will figure. I don't think Anderson will do much. You know why? Good, bear in mind now, I've played in England a lot with the old Duke, right? And does different things. Out here with the Kookaburra, you don't get a wicket in the first 10 overs, you're chasing leather. And my gut feeling is I think Anderson should have retired. I think Broad should have said, you know what, I've had my fun. Because out here, I think they're going to get smacked to all parts. Just my gut feeling.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Someone Munna's asking, when is the first test? Well, the first test is December 8th, which is only, it's actually the 3rd of December now. We've just gone into the 3rd of December here in Australia.
Yep, so it's going to be hot and humid.
Yep.
It's quite raining.
Yeah, so and obviously that's December 8th.
A week or so, halfway through December in Adelaide will be quite warm, but really warm.
Yeah, it's been sticky, but it's been wet as well. So if that continues, we're going to have a very interesting,
and also
interrupted
humidity drains a lot from your body. I hope Anderson comes out here, 5 test matches, takes 55 wickets, and average of 12, because he is a fantastic bowler. But in the real world, I don't think it will happen.
When did James Anderson start bowling for the England side? Was it 2003?
No, the 96 I played too. Yeah, about then, yep. And you know what happened?
When was your last test?
They didn't like his action, so they dropped him.
When was the last test you played?
Headingley 2001 with a broken rib in 2 places.
2001. So you didn't overlap, did you?
No. He's been brilliant, but actually, you know something, Naresh? I would love for you to meet my mum, because we just gasbag about life, and Norman knows my mum, right? I was talking the other morning with mum out the back, in the midst of other stuff, like cooking and gardening. And I said, you know what, mum? Andrew Caddick is a far better bowler than Chris Broad. And Darren Gough is a far better bowler than Anderson. Because what makes you think that? Well, the way they're managed these days is a lot different. You play a test match, you play for your county. You play a test match, you play for your county. Whereas Anderson and Broad, I might have a first-class game, a bit of a rollout, and might bowl 5, 6, 7 overs. Yeah, I feel good. That'll do me. It's a bit different to back in the 90s. I firmly believe Goffey is a better bowler than Anderson.
Now this is a fun comment. Samrat Munna says, my mum talks only about doing the chores. That's interesting. So let's just make it clear. Let's just get it clear, viewers. We've had a couple of birthdays occur. On December the 1st, which was yesterday, it was the birthday of Anne Mullally, correct?
83.
83.
Belated happy birthday, Alan.
Oh, she's next door.
And, well, it's December 3rd now in Australia, December 2nd in India, December 3rd and December 2nd in England. But in fact, December 3rd, which I'm now falling into, is my mother's 90th birthday.
And my mum will be phoning you tomorrow, our time, Norman, to say happy birthday.
So she's turned 90. It's a sense of relief for me because I think when you turn 90, you can basically say every day after that's a bonus. 90 is a great age to have reached. 80s is very good too, but 90s, once you reach 90, it's sort of, well, you've done your best. Every day is a bonus, I reckon, after that. That's my thoughts. And of course, my mother had me when she was 65, just to let you know.
Yeah, my mum's 83, had me when she was 58.
Oh, rubbish, she's doing it 58.
Hence the good looks.
Yeah, when I tell people my mother's 90, I sometimes turn around and say my grandmother, just to make me sound younger, but it doesn't work. But she had me very late, extremely late, extremely late. All right.
By the way, Norman, I'm getting back into playing my guitar.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Steve Smith plays a guitar.
No, I've got him covered, man.
All right. Now, we've talked about Australia, England, I think enough. It's a bit early. We know that Alex Carey's inside.
Just to answer to Samrat, yes, there is a Boxing Day test. Same Melbourne, 26th December, followed by Sydney, which would be McGrath Foundation. That these two would remain, yeah, these two. And Adelaide is
January the 5th. It's a bit later. It's January the 5th that starts.
Yeah.
Which used to be 3rd. Of course, there's going to be a Boxing Day test I hope there will be in South Africa, won't there?
Yeah. So as of the latest, India is, I think, officially making a request to reschedule the tour. Maybe make it a 2-test series. Yeah. But yeah, Boxing Day is when South Africa is very keen to have India to play the test. So we'll have to wait and watch what comes back, because the scheduled departure is 8th, right after the second test match.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have these 5 days to know what happens. There is a request going to reschedule.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's because of this Omicron, correct?
Yeah.
The Omicron.
But Naresh? Sorry, Naresh. Did you hear that there was 7 women players for Sri Lanka that came down with COVID in Zimbabwe?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, more than half the side were.
I think you guys follow too much with the media. Naresh, can you please tell me what number on a scale of 1 to 100 here in Australia this COVID Chinese Wuhan virus is killing people? You got 1 to 100. Number 1 is Alzheimer's, right? Then you got heart disease. The number all the way through to 100. What number do you think is this Wuhan Chinese virus, the COVID-19 thing?
Probably low down.
38.
Yeah.
More people die of the flu. More people die in a car crash. More people die from a bee sting, Norman. More people have been attacked by a great white shark and died over the past 12 months than they have this Chinese virus. But the politicians like to play it up because they've all become control freaks. My dad, Naresh, God bless my dad, right? He's Irish. When I used to come back from England to Perth, he goes, son, when England sneezes, Australia gets the flu. Now we've got America with this bloke called Biden. It's all gone crazy.
Okay, so Barama reckons that his mother thinks that he always says that he's thin and not eating well. That's what my mother said. Now, Himanshu Chowdhury is asking.
Okay, does he want some help with that?
Hang on, will reverse swing come into play in Australia? Not much. It's not a huge.
Maybe Sydney. Maybe Melbourne.
Well, if
when Goffey took that hat trick.
Well, if Dave Warner has anything to do with it, it may have a lot to do with it.
Well, I know.
All right.
Excuse me. No. He should have been banned for life because that was the worst attempt at ball tappering ever.
Naresh, what's the reaction in India of Steve Waugh being brought back as a vice captain after being dumped as a captain because of Sangay? What's the talk there?
Steve Smith, yeah, not much, but everyone would have their opinions about it. But when it actually happened, the incident, the way Australia handled it, it was very clear that he would not be in the mix of a lot of things in Australian cricket. But this looks like some kind of, see, even if when he was not officially the captain and in the side after 2 years, surely there he is influencing some decisions. So it's just you get an official tag of being a deputy to the captain. Lucky to have survived only 2 years of a ban, to be honest, Norman. But I doubt officially he would get that tag of leading national team. I doubt that.
It's very unusual to have a person who was dropped as captain based on a whole lot of issues to be returned to the team. Not he's allowed to bat.
See, and that's what you say. This was very cricketing related decision. Tim Payne is a non-cricketing, to be honest, but and I think he has himself taken that decision.
Yeah.
It wasn't the board or right in Steve Smith case, the Prime Minister of the country had to come and make comments. So yeah, this both are different. One is on the field, and that matters the most, the conduct on the field. So.
Now, going back to the thumbnail I used for this presentation, it talked about the highest run scorers of 2021 in India. Rohit Sharma led from Pant, Kohli, Rahul, and I think that's Pujara. It's interesting how Rohit stood out. Rohit had a very good year, didn't he, playing Test cricket? He had a very good year. Rishabh Pant early on did okay, but he fell away a fair bit. Kohli had still scored 875.
Well, he completed 2 years. He completed 2 years without 100. The last
Amazing.
one was the pink ball test against Bangladesh in India. Yeah.
2 years, Naresh, without 100.
Without 100, Virat Kohli. Yeah.
Try 18 years.
Well, thank God that Alan Malay wasn't opening the batting for him. But yeah, I mean, look, Kohli's situation.
Don't laugh.
Hang on, Alan, hang on. What's interesting about Kohli's not scoring a century in 2 seasons, Naresh, is the fact that Shreyas Iyer comes straight into the side. Not only does he score a century, he scores a 50 to back it up. That's a bit embarrassing, isn't it?
Keep me up to speed. Okay, so was Kohli dropped, or what's going on?
No, he rested for the first test.
Rested. He's not made 100 for 2 years.
Yeah, you can say that was an odd decision. When he left the captaincy,
he is viewed upon in India like a god, right? Whatever.
Oh,
Shane Warne said that Virat Kohli is better than Sachin, and I disagreed massively. He's a nice batsman. Sachin is a different ballgame.
Yeah.
Okay,
the question from I'm going to get this question. Hang on. Just going back to England for a minute. Leach plays for Don Best for sure. Leach definitely will play ahead of Don Best.
Leach will play, yeah. Leach will
he's a left-arm bowler, isn't he? And playing left-arm spin against left-arm batters might be very interesting. Sorry?
Don Best, is he left-handed? Or spinner?
Yeah,
Leach is left arm and Don Best is right arm spinners. Yeah.
I think Brisbane. I don't know what's going to happen here. The guy's gone nuts. Brisbane, no need for a spinner. Melbourne,
but Norman, this question is an interesting question. With the first point we spoke about the amount of left-handers in Australia side, would that influence Root to play an off spinner in Best and not Leach?
Yes. Away from the bat. First,
interesting.
With the amount of left-handers we spoke about. Yeah.
But Leach has got the better record, so he might go. Okay, there's a question. This is a great question. I really like this question. Read that question. Naresh, can you read it?
Yeah. Hey, Norman, you've been following Australia cricket regime for years now. Can you please hit on how should transition period for batsmen handle if there are a couple of stalwarts struggling to score? Yeah, I think this has lots to do with how Rahane's situation. And that's what Steve Smith is doing well in the longer format. And I think not playing T20 is the best for Steve Smith. But I think the question is more on how do you manage those
Well, they
you know,
need
those
to. They need to have a line in the sand, and I hope that they've told Rahane in particular and Pujara, right? You've got the New Zealand series or the South African series. Pick a series and say you've got to produce by a certain date, or you're not on the team. I thought it was the England series that would be the final date. They've allowed them to. They've allowed them to go through with that. They did okay in the end. Almost won the series. Well, they effectively did win the series. Really, this series against New Zealand should have been the making of Pujara and Rahane being at home. And I believe they should have been tested by the series. And I think Rahane's failed. And I think they may
but I
give him
think,
this test.
Norman, are you saying the question more is how would Australia handle it? So you're saying it's more to do with the,
Well,
Are
traditionally
you right
over
there,
the
Norman?
years.
What's that doing on me?
Sorry?
You right there coughing away?
Yeah, I'm fine. The
You got
Australian
the
team.
You got the.
I
You
thought-
got the
No, that's right. The Australian team traditionally have selected players and not dropped them, even if they were reaching the end of their career. Generally, we let them play out their career and allow them to help choose the decision time, especially if they've been a good batsman. And Rahane and Pujara have had good records, you would argue. And I think India are doing the same thing. But I think the line of the sand has been drawn. It's either this series, I don't think it'll even be South Africa. If Rahane doesn't perform, I think he's going to play this test match. I actually think he's going to play. And Agarwal will be the scapegoat. He will probably go and Kohli will go in. They'll keep Shreyas Iyer. But I think that if Rahane doesn't perform this test match, the series to South Africa will be a telling one. That's when they're going to change their selections. I think Pujara is still going to survive, but I think Rahane's gone. But he may play this test. Shreyas Iyer's in there. Sky's in there. The likes of Gaikwad and Venkat will be coming through as well. There's going to be quite a few changes.
So Norman, if I relate it to Australian cricket, I think we have spoken this earlier. I think was it a little unfair of not having Khwaja play when India toured there?
Yes.
Was that a wrong decision not selecting Khwaja?
That was based on his relationship, I believe, with Justin Langer, to be honest with you, because I think and perhaps even the selector at the time, Trevor Holmes. But George Bailey, who was a very modern cricketer type selector,
Tasmania.
He's using his head. He's using his head.
Played for Hampshire.
So he's using his head. So you'll see. But Khawaja's back for a reason because he's one of the best batters in the. Sorry.
Bailey's from Tasmania. A lovely guy. Played for Hampshire, right? Usman Khawaja, fantastic batsman, fantastic person, who by trade is a pilot.
Correct.
In those things that fly around the world, those big things. Yeah.
But I'm just saying to you that George Bailey is going to pick people on form. He's not going to take anything into account. Khawaja's played out of his skin this season and most of last season. He captained Queensland to the Sheffield Shield and is deserving of being back in. Travis Head, in parts, played okay, but he was dropped last season. He was dropped. And I think they need to also...
one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
Oh, yeah. But Khawaja's back. Khawaja's back, and rightfully so. He should have played it against India. He would have been the right selection. Naresh, I reckon he would have handled the Indian bowlers very, very well in Australian conditions, and they made a mistake not having him in there. Labuschagne's form has been too good to drop, but I'm not convinced Labuschagne's the long-term solution, and I'll explain why. We haven't seen Labuschagne fail yet for a prolonged period. That's going to be his test. If he can come back from 4 or 5 failures, then I'll respect him. But until he does that, I'm not. My thoughts are out on him. So Khawaja's going to come back in. Pukovsky's gone. Marcus Harris will open. He's played well again in England. He played very well earlier this year. So really, that's a pretty reasonable result. Curtis Patterson is floating around yet again. He was in the Australian side earlier. He's got a test batting average over 100 despite being injured and losing his spot.
What
Bancroft hasn't performed well for a long time. He basically mentally lost it
after he was 16.
Yeah, but he mentally lost it after he went through that that particular sandpaper game. He lost it.
He was never. You know what?
The transition, go back to the transition for a moment. You basically, Australian teams always honoured the player that was in the side and would not drop them until if they had a prolonged performance. Look, Kawaja's played 44 tests and scored 8 centuries. He didn't deserve to be dropped, really, but he was. He's back in form. He should be right back in there. So that they generally do honour batsmen who have got good form, and I actually commend the way India's handled Pujara Rahane. They're giving them a long chance, but time's up. I think this next Test match has to be Rahane's last one, unless he scores out of his skin. But he'll get another go. He won't be dropped for this Test, I don't think. But Shreyas Iyer is staying in, and Agarwal's going to be probably the scapegoat.
So, Norman,
I think there's a question from Ashutosh on Sean Marsh, why he is not part of the Australian squad.
Well,
Sean Marsh woke me up in March 1988 at his dad, Jeff Marsh's house, after a celebration when we won the Sheffield Shield. Now, there's one for you, Norman. He jumped on my bed. He must have been good boy. 2. Wake up, Uncle Alan. Dum, dum, dum. Please leave me alone. That's a story for you.
Well, Sean Marsh was very inconsistent at the end, and I think hasn't he? He's no longer playing though. I don't think he's playing. I think Sean Marsh.
I think the last was the Big Bash, right? Last year, December,
I think he's
January.
basically he's finished. And Mitchell Marshall, he's resurrected his career after the World Cup, but he's not. George Bailey made it very clear: great short form, but not for Tests. Aaron Finch, was a good captain.
No, I know George Bailey very, very well, right? And he is a very, very shrewd, smart, common sense kind of guy. I think he's brilliant.
Anyway, I think the Australian batting line.
Norman and I think about doing an Ashes podcast with Monty Panesar and yourself and others. What do you think? Like a YouTube video thing.
There's an actual platform called Acast, Naresh, here in Australia. Okay. They handle some very big platforms. I actually spoke to someone today about it. Acast really are champions of getting podcasts. But, I mean, really, I'm a YouTuber, to be honest with you. My podcast is effectively, this can be podcasted. What we're talking about here now doesn't need our lovely faces on this.
About doing other stuff, like away from the game. What do people get up to away from the game?
Do you mean not to talk about the game?
No, you talk about cricket, but other stuff like, okay, for instance, I'm going to fly to Sydney. I'm going to knock on your door. Hello, Norman. You all right? What are you up to? Oh, shit, where did you come from? Fancy a bit of a surf on a surfboard? No, I don't like surfing, and there's sharks. Well, let's go have some fun. Do you know what I mean? You might come over here.
That's could be possible.
You live around here somewhere, Al, and then you play the guitar. Can you play a guitar? Yeah. And you're going to be going to India next year. Yeah, you coming? Yeah, why not? Just random stuff away from. Because my point being is this, Norman. Over the past couple of years, with this COVID-19 and America and China and politics, people need a laugh. They need to just relax, have a sense of humor. Don't you think?
All right. So, Vabhav Sahu reckons that most impressive bowler is Adam Zampa. I think he should be in the Australian Test squad ahead of Mitchell Swepson. Swepson's been very, very poorly. He hasn't done well at all. Okay, here's a question for Alan. Now, Alan, just answer this question. What will you choose? A 10-for and a century in the Test match against India, or a hat-trick in the Ashes? Well, you're not going to score a century, so that's a useless question.
Excuse me. Calm down. Norman, calm down. Mr. Chowdhury, I'm going to give you the answer straight up right now. I took wickets in the Ashes.
Alan, can you put your head to the left? You got glare behind you. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, no, you got glare. No, go in the middle. There. Stay there. Right.
Yeah.
No, it's even worse. Okay, good. Yeah, good.
Is
Okay.
that better?
Yeah.
That's Bob Marley, by the way.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
but he was glaring. Bob Marley was
in
glaring.
a century in a test match against India every single day of the week.
Sorry?
I would choose a 10-foot and a century in a test match against India every day of the week.
Right.
In fact, I would choose a 5-foot and a 50.
What do you mean 50 is
every
your
day of the
total?
week.
Do you mean 50 is your total runs for the whole series? Is that
That'll
what you're
do
saying?
me. Yep. Absolutely. I'll tell you what, 5 test matches, 100 runs, 5 to 10 innings. That's an average of.
All right.
If I could average 11.2 and make 150 and wickets, no, I'm paid to bowl. That's easy. I would take 100.
All right. It's now 12:37 a.m. in Australia. My mother is now officially 90. I could wake her up and tell her she's 90.
Congratulations, Norman.
But maybe I shouldn't do that because I don't want to startle her on her 90th birthday. Yeah. So to conclude, we're gonna have an early finish. We've gone an hour, guys. I think that's enough tonight.
Okay, Norman,
Yeah.
getting back to what we're going to do, Naresh, me and Norman, with various things, can I just do one thing, Norman?
Right.
And now you and Naresh need to try I'm going to do something. First of all, Naresh, your man who's a vegetarian needs to get some of that down him.
Rapid release protein.
What the hell's that?
It's called gym food, Norman.
Gym food.
Right, I'm going to do something. Naresh, go dung, 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 right? And Norman, you got to now, and Naresh, write some lyrics. Ready? Bear with me. Bear with me.
What is going on? Yeah, look. So, honestly, Naresh, do you think the team will change? Will be Agarwal out, Kohli in, and maybe Saha out, Bharat in?
Yes, Saha would be only if he's not fit. Otherwise, definitely he's the first choice keeper.
But he was injured in the first test. That's why Bharat kept, correct?
Yeah, he got injured. He had a neck strain, but he had to bat because you cannot be replaced for batting because it's not a concussion injury. So he batted, and he batted very well in the second inning, if you see. But if he's not fit, then Bharat comes in. If
Right.
he's fit, definitely Saha continues. So only debate is who Virat comes in for.
Right. Well, I'm not sure why we got music, but we have. But... All right. You got 15 seconds. Go for it.
Okay, U2. The rest, U2 is an Irish rock group.
Go.
Oh, we could only sing Happy Birthday for Norman's mom. We could play it.
Yeah. Happy birthday, my
Happy
mother.
birthday. Yeah.
Is it getting better? I'll tell you what, you might know this one. That's my pick.
Baram saying sanitizer is coming to town. Sanitizer is coming. Not Santa. Sanitizers. R. Sanitizer's coming to town. Not Santa Claus is coming. Sanitizer's coming to town.
Naresh, have you heard of a guy?
Oh, this is nasty. What's this comment? What's the difference between Cinderella and the Australian cricket team? Cinderella knew when to lead the ball. All right. That's not bad. I haven't heard that before. Actually, I'm going to do that. I'm going to. What we have there is what's the difference between Cinderella and the Australian cricket team? Cinderella knew when to lead the ball. RR. All
And
right.
Naresh,
Summer of
hell of a guy
22.
called Naresh.
Summer of 69.
Okay, guys.
Yeah.
We're going to end with this discussion. India will probably go in with a very similar lineup. Ishant Sharma, will he play? Naresh?
Yeah, that's the other thing. I'm sure Siraj would be looked at, and Ishant has been good, but he's not been an effective second inning bowler. That could be a concern. So would they want to? And that's what it is. The Mumbai conditions would, kind of tempt even India to play three seamers, but I don't think Akshar has made a case for him not to be in the side. He's been taking fiver every test, so India would want to go with that strength. And I think both teams should focus on their strengths, and that's where I feel Wagner would definitely come in for New Zealand. And if that happens, then I think Ishant would make way for Siraj. So India will go with Siraj and Umesh and the three spinners.
Right. And they would put in Kohli, keep Shreyas Iyer, and Agarwal's gone. And Rahane and Pujara won't go. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But if Rahane fails again, that's he can't
South Africa.
Can't go.
Yeah, and you need to you can relate the logic of why Vihari is already in South Africa. Maybe the decision is made that that's number 5 or rather number 4 and 5 now that needs to be looked at with Shreyas Iyer also doing well. So can Virat come in earlier at 3? I don't think that's going to happen. He'll remain at 4. So we'll have to see in the next 6 months what happens, because it's a 2-year cycle. We cannot continue to have a very tentative 3, 4, 5 for long.
That's true. Well, this is
51 for 5.
again,
if you remember this test again, 51 for 5, and I think on 19th December this year we complete a year to 36 all out in Adelaide. We have more situations of Indian batting collapse in the first session of a test inning on a new day, more than the first innings, more than the batting lineup doing well. So it's not something which a top side would like to have for long. You need to get that consistency.
Absolutely. But they need Rohit Sharma back because he really has proven to be a test specialist now.
Yeah.
With Rahul. All right, this was the
here's my song for Adelaide and the Ashes. Yes, they arrived in Brisbane, the 3 Lions and the Crown. It was hot, it was humid, and they were all falling around. They lost the game in 3 days because it was too hot. They had to go to Adelaide, and oh my lord, they were shot. It's 44 degrees, Edison and Broad. Too hot. They all fall down. There you go.
Well, my iPhone glass just cracked, by the way, but anyway, it's nothing. So
Australia has never lost a day-night test since the beginning, 2015. And Mitchell Starc has the most wickets in a day-night test match since 2015. So that is one test England would have to try to change that record, and that's why Anderson and Broad would be more important for the pink ball test.
Totally. I mean, Anderson bowls very well in those conditions. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So this is the 310th live show, Naresh, and I've had 310.
Oh, wonderful.
884 overall. So we've done predominantly in this year. That's a lot. That's almost 2.5 a day. In other words, 5 in 2 days.
And no wonder why you're tired, Norman. So Naresh, hopefully next year, maybe around March, if you've got contacts, I'm on the phone to contacts, but going to India to coach. And maybe
we're going to India. Yeah. So that's
you're very good at the old camera to go from Delhi all the way down to Goa and coach and find some nice fast bowlers. So Naresh, if you've got contacts, that'd be awesome. Because I want to find some nice fast bowlers. Just not being coached, just there's the ball, what can you do? Well, I can do this. Because you never know. Yeah. And that's how they found ways of macro.
And even Harris Ralph has found that way too.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. I would love to do that and go, okay, chap, What do you got? Oh my lord!
All right, guys, we're going to end it now. So that's a big day tomorrow for India back for the next test. Australia's Ashes series against England is coming closer and closer. It's all hotting up. We'll have a lot more to talk about in the next coming weeks. I'm only 13 off 20,000. So, Naresh, if you've got 13 friends, let them know quickly. They can be the 20,000th person tonight, which is a bit of a milestone. All right, so look out for future shows, guys. Thanks, Alan and Naresh, for coming on. This has been Eyes on. I'm going to finish at an hour and 10 minutes, which is borderline short for me. All right, guys, so we'll see us all soon again. So, guys, take care.
By the way, before you go, Naresh, I told Norman he's got to get his finger out, he's got to lose some weight, hit the gym, and then when he comes to Perth, I'm going to take him surfing.
Thank God there's COVID happening, so I can't go.
I'll fly over and collect him.
All right. Okay. So happy 90th for the mother. She made 90 not outs. Not a bad innings.
Happy birthday. And my mum is watching TV. Well, no, she's fallen asleep.
She's 83. So it's a good opening stand, 83 and 90. Almost a double century stand there with sundries, of course. All right, guys. We'll talk soon. Matches in Mumbai. The game's at Wankhede, isn't it?
Wankhede, 9:30 start local time. Yeah.
All right. I'll probably be able to either preview show probably tomorrow if mother's not busy eating cake.
But
fact,
I don't expect an on-time start.
Yeah,
I don't expect an on-time start, Norman, at least tomorrow.
No.
Naresh, don't listen to Norman. Don't pay attention.
Here's some of my mother's goodies. Look, my mother has some goodies there. Look.
What the hell is that? Excuse me. Before you go, here's the difference, Naresh, between Norman and me, right? 1 second.
It's her birthday. The European biscuits.
Norman, seriously? Seriously?
What?
You're having that?
No, I'm not having that. It's my mother's birthday.
Oh.
Yuck. Yuck. Yuck.
I'm
not getting paid. It's not paid advertising, so we're just getting rid of that.
Naresh has been hitting the gym, and over the last 3 weeks.
Thanks, Naresh, yet again. Thanks, Alan. See you guys soon.
Bye, Norman.
Ciao.
Thanks. Yeah.
Ciao.
Try and keep a straight face, Naresh.
Alan, see you. So, cancel, Aaron. I'm leaving.
Okay, leave. Bye.
Ciao. All right, so that was good. We had Naresh and Alan on the show. Baram was there in the wings. We've done well again. I've got some. How many have I got? Let's have a look. $13 more people needed to bring up to 20,000. So we're 19,987. Very, very close. Baram, we're getting close. All right, so guys, I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have a lot to talk about the India-New Zealand test and some updates. I'll be in an interview with Miles Labuschagne. He'll be on. He's going to be interviewed leading on the series. Obviously, Alex Carey will come up pretty soon. He'll be cock-a-hoop after his selection in the 15, which means his selection in the side, being the 461st test cap for Australia, which is never short of a great celebration for anyone to be able to be picked in the Australian side. And I feel for Josh Inglis. If he didn't go to the World Cup, he may have been well rehearsed to play. Had Tim Payne played more of the series in this test series and Josh Inglis showed more form, it may have been that Josh Inglis took over next year. But Alex Carey's got the Guernsey, and it's up to him now to show his wares. So all the best, guys. We'll talk again tomorrow. Don't forget, at Norm Koch is my Instagram and Twitter. I've got an election too, a council election coming in 2 days' time. So that's there. Eyes on Cricket with Norm Koch. Please view, like, and share, subscribe, and hit the notification button.